What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a throwback video. What you see before you here is my Dell Latitude D600 laptop from 2005. Now, you all haven't seen this computer in probably about 4.5 years, so this is going to be a video for you guys. The OG subscribers, that is. This video was requested by YouTube user VaronBros, and so here I am. I'm about to do it. So, anyhow, this is my D600. Of course, I have a little bit of a story to tell on this. So, back in 2010, when I originally started this channel, I was leaving 6th grade, right? And so the school that I was going to, they were shutting down. It was the last year that they were having any classes. So anyways, I was pretty decent friends with the guy that ran the computer lab. And at the time, you know, I didn't have a ton of money or a ton of stuff. And so I kind of worked out a deal with him where at the end of the school year, he actually gave me a Dell Latitude D500. I actually have a D500 here, like an actual D500, but this one is not the original one that I got, but it's you know, identical otherwise. It's just not the same computer. Anyhow, I ended up selling that computer and regretting it almost immediately because I moved on to another laptop, an Inspiron 1501, which is a big upgrade. But anyways, I sold that computer. I was really sad about it. That was sometime in 2011. And so in April of 2012, I ended up purchasing this computer off of eBay just to kind of bring back nostalgic feelings and whatever. So anyways, that's how I ended up with this. And I've had it ever since. Of course, it's 2019 now, so I've had this thing for over 7 years at this point. And so anyways, I bought it. I, messed around with it for a little bit. And it's been pretty much sitting unused on and off, since probably about 2015 or 2016. That was the last time I really messed with it at any capacity. Obviously, I, turn it on here and there just to make sure it still worked. And I believe I used it to restore an old iPhone or something a while back because it does have iTunes on it now. But anyhow, it hasn't really changed all that much since then. Of course, it still works perfectly. I mean, the only things that have changed are the RAM and the clock battery. So the clock battery died recently, I am going to assume. So, of course, it doesn't hold the date and time anymore when it's off. With that said, though, I did pull a clock battery out of a D505 that I have down here for parts. I put that in there. I'm not even sure if that one works, but we're about to find out. And also, at some point, it lost a lot of its RAM. So this thing used to have 2 gigs of RAM in it, but now it only has 512 megabytes. And I've gone through so many computers, and of course, last year I moved out and got rid of a bunch, so I don't know what happened to the RAM because I don't have anything more to put in here. It's standard DDR memory, which I don't have a lot of. But anyways, yeah, so those are the 2 biggest changes. Otherwise, condition-wise, it's still pretty much exactly the same. I'm not really sure if these scratches were here or not before, but I mean, it's more or less exactly the same condition it was years ago. The battery is still fully functional. This battery actually, I think, only has 13 or 14% wear on it. And after all these years, this thing still works and the battery still holds a charge, which is nice. So anyhow, I will go ahead and open it up. We'll take a look at the inside. Of course, as you can see, again, it's literally the same as it was many years ago. I haven't done anything to it, and it hasn't suffered any damage other than those 2 things that I mentioned before. Anyhow, I'll go ahead and turn it on. There we go. And we'll watch it boot into Windows XP here. So this was, again, back in the, what I call the golden ages, where things were just a little bit simpler in life. Of course, now I have a bunch of MacBooks and really powerful computers, but back when I had this thing, this was, pretty nice. I didn't end up building a custom-built PC until the year after I got this. And yeah, it's just interesting to see how far we've come and harken back to a time when I thought this was like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Of course, now it's basically useless. It has a 1.8 gigahertz Pentium M, 512 megs of RAM, like I said before, and a 40 gig hard drive, I believe. So again, it's pretty much useless these days, but it's still kind of cool to keep around. I still have the original install of Windows XP on here. I've had this install on here for probably at least since 2015, probably even before that, because the wallpaper and everything is the same compared to the older videos I looked at on this thing. But as you can see, the battery still works great. The optical drive works. The keyboard and everything is still in pretty darn good shape. It's just, it's still chucking along. Now, I did notice that when we booted it, it didn't ask me for the date and time, so I think that clock battery that I put in there from the other Latitude does hold a charge, so I think we're good there. But for some reason, this thing has always taken forever to get into the desktop. Like, it'll just sit here for like a minute or two. I'm not really sure why. There it goes. Go ahead and pan the camera in a little bit here. We can focus on this nice 1400 by 1050 display here, which is actually pretty darn nice for the time. Of course, this computer came out in 2005-ish. Anyways, I have the Royale theme installed, of course, just for a little bit more aesthetic. I look at the original Aqua theme from Windows XP, and I'm just not really feeling it anymore. So, load the system properties here. There you go. So Windows XP Professional, Service Pack 3. Again, like I said, it only has 512 megs of RAM. Now, I wish I was able to get some more RAM because, you know, I'd like to bring this thing back up to 2 gigs, which I believe is the maximum that it supports. But, you know, it is what it is. As far as other programs and stuff on here, it does actually have a full suite of Microsoft Office 2007 still on it, which is actually pretty cool. I didn't think there was anything on this computer, but, you know, you can still run an ancient version of Microsoft Office on it, which is kind of neat. I'll go ahead and load that up for you. There we go. Finally loaded up. So that's that. One thing I am having issues with now is it connecting to the wireless network. Like, okay, see, now it says it's connected, but before, yesterday in fact, it was having issues connecting to my actual Wi-Fi network, and I thought that might be because, you know, it's a WPA2 network, and, you know, this thing, for some reason, didn't have that update that added WPA2, but looks like I'm full of crap. It's working now, so that's great. Of course, like I said, web browsing is a very slow experience. It is just not really powerful enough to run the internet at this point. Of course, you can still browse Google and stuff, but that's, I doubt, you know, Facebook or Instagram or anything would work on this. Scrolling down, you can see that 2 out of the 3 recommended videos on Google are mine, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, so, I mean, like I said, it's still working fully. I don't really know what else I can say about it other than, like I said, it's still working. So, that's going to be about it. Just I guess this is a quote-unquote final update because I don't really see myself making any more videos on this computer, but for the YouTuber who requested it and anyone else who cares, that's my Dell Latitude D600. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.